Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel and another video. Apologies for the slight delay. We had some technical glitches, but we're here now. So let's just do the intro and get right into it. Yes, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel and another video. And as you can see, when the bat signal goes up, he always comes. Affectionately known as the most dangerous Arsenal fan alive by Michael. It's Arsenal's, I've forgotten his name. Jason Bourne, that's it. God, my head. Friday. Jason Bourne. Arsenal's Jason Bourne. Neil, how you doing?
Thank you for that lovely intro. I'm good.
I butchered it, but yeah, we got there in the
end. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I was thinking in my head Miles Bourne, and then I'm like, hang on a sec. I swear that was like an old WWE wrestler that wasn't very good when I was a kid. He was like really low tier wrestler. But it's all good. Good to have you.
Glad always a pleasure. Always
glad you were here. Glad you are well.
Thank you. And, thank you too.
So yes, obviously, Neil, kicking into it. I know that you didn't watch this game live, but you managed to catch up with it in the end, which is great. I know first and foremost as well, you're not a humongous fan of lineup questions.
Okay, that's fine.
So the best I can say is obviously coming into this game, we've got the horrible news beforehand about Kai Havertz and his hamstring, about the situation where it was like a freak accident and what have you. I'll believe it. I'm not one of these that thinks that, no, you were making them do way more training over there than they should have been doing, and you flogged him. I do believe this whole freak accident thing, as I know there was other people that were watching the training at the time, media-wise, that confirmed it also. But then you never know. There is journalists on payroll, so maybe they're like, "This is the story. Push it out for us, and you'll be rewarded kindly with the story." But yeah, with the lineup that obviously was put out. Obviously, familiar back five, that's not going to change. We've all said we don't want that to change unless, something horrible happens. Touch wood, it doesn't. The midfield, again, we've all said don't want that to change. Happy with that currently at the moment. The front three, Neil. Obviously, Nwaneri, there's no point asking you whether I think he should start or not. You think he should be captain, corners, penalties, goal kicks, coin toss. Gunnosaurus. Yeah. So there's no point asking whether you think he should play or not. But obviously Trossard up front and Sterling on the wing. Was that what you would have picked?
We didn't have much else left, really.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you're at the bare bones.
The only other thing stupidly I was thinking about was maybe pushing, not maybe up front, but maybe pushing, maybe playing Calafiore as well and keeping him further up because he loves to run forward. I think the thing is that other brilliant youngster of ours, he's definitely going to, evolve to the midfield anyway at some point because he's just too good not to. So there's another option there. Now, I don't know how fit Ben White was, but I believe he was on the bench. Is that correct? So even if it wasn't from the start, I think at some point maybe he could have tried Ben White, reverted back Timber back to the left, and pushed Skelly up a bit forward, and just to see how that worked and looked. But with hindsight, it's a wonderful thing, isn't it? I mean, now we know what we've seen, quite a bit of a master stroke. But just on Kai, I mean, I think that is beyond tragic. I can't explain. Let's forget the officiating and all the corruption and the bias. Let's put that all aside for a minute. The injuries that we have sustained this season, my goodness me, I cannot begin to even understand it, James. A team can have its run of rotten luck, but this is on another level. To lose literally everyone up front now. For me, Kai and Saka were arguably our best forwards anyway. They're both gone. I can't see Saka even. I don't even want him to return to this season because I don't want to, if we escalate the return, I don't want that to be detrimental to his recovery. Sorry about the phone in the background. So we're out of those two, but then to lose Jesus, who started looking a little bit better. I'm not saying he would have been the answer because we all know what he's like. For me, he's still too inconsistent, but he could have added another dimension if needed on occasion. But then, Kai Havertz, for me, I know he's had a lot of criticism. I know that maybe he hasn't been as effective as he was in 2024 and the tail end maybe of 2024. But I think he's still such an important player for us because he does so much more than, put the ball in the net when he does do that. I know he's been missing so many chances which he should put away. But James, I think he's a massive, massive loss to us. So when I heard the news and then when I saw that starting lineup, I thought I wasn't confident. Raheem Sterling, I'm sorry, it's not working out at all. I think it was a waste of a loan. Trossard, for me, I have liked it when he interchanges between the false line and the left wing, but I think predominantly he's more effective on the left. So having him in the middle, I don't know if that was a great idea. So it didn't look great. But then again, my mind wasn't completely on the game at the time. But from what I'd heard and what I saw, I was nervous, to say the least.
Yeah, and I mean, you sum it up brilliantly there. It was a real, with cliches in terms of football. There's so many, but yeah, it was a real game of two halves because um, even though we had some chances in that first half, predominantly other than really Nanweri and then Rice and to some extent Trossard as well, the rest of them just wasn't clicking. I thought Partey had a terrible first half. Timber was one of the worst games that I'd seen him play for a very, very long time. And Odegaard as well. I just remember in the WhatsApp chat saying to you guys, because I think Jack obviously was at a wedding and he was messaging as well in the group chat for the Purely Pod, going like, "Oh, James, how's Odegaard?" Because we all love Odegaard. I mean, Jack loves Odegaard more than me, but we all love him. And he's like, "How's Odegaard?" And I'm like, Jack. I'm like, this guy's meant to be the captain. I'm like, he's getting on my nerves because just the lack of wanting to shoot in positive situations. He's just constantly. I don't know if it's a lack of confidence and what have you, and just how he looks as well. I know obviously this baby thing's been mentioned and everything else, but I think since his injury, the physical drop off. I mean, I mentioned it in the WhatsApp group. I put it out here because I thought it was a funny line from me. Sorry to toot my own horn, but I said his legs look like they've gone from Ronnie Coleman to Ronnie Corbett. That was that was the joke I used. He's looking withered lately. I don't know what's happened if where he's hurt himself, he can't do what he was doing previously in the gym and or something, or if he's playing through the pain barrier, because we know Arsenal players would do that. I mean,
He's looking pale and gaunt as well.
Yes, yeah. You mentioned about Saka, and again, it was something that we all talked about, obviously off air. But I mentioned it when I was lucky enough to meet Ian Wright that day, and Ian Wright said, "Look at me." He's like, "I'm limping now," but he went, "I done that for you to win you all well, obviously for himself, but he went, I done that to help you guys win trophies and for us to celebrate." And I think Saka's the same. I think Saka would damage himself in later life to win stuff for Arsenal because he cares that much, which there's nothing wrong with that. But in an idealistic world, I'd be like, enjoy your later life on top of winning the trophies, Bakayo. But, we don't live in an idealistic world, sadly. But you mentioned there about.
Yeah,
sorry, no, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I think the problem is we look all right. Just discounting what happened in the second half because that's wonderful, but I just feel that we still are a team when we don't seem to run with the ball enough. We don't seem to run defenders enough. We're not direct enough. And I know I kind of said it a little bit with tongue in cheek and a bit of humour about Calafiore, but someone like him, he's not afraid to get it on from the side of his position, run in, cut into the middle, and just have a go and run at the defence and go the direct route. Yes, I know we're a very predominantly winger-based team, either right or left. Go down the wings, charge down the wings, rather than go through the middle. I know that a lot of teams, because they know the way we play, that they know we can be dangerous, they'll set up with a low block, they'll cut all those paths out. But sometimes we've seen Nweri do it, we've seen Timber do it, we've seen even Odegaard do it in terms of when they actually run at the players, it causes a bit of panic. And I think by doing that, you are then kind of distracting the other defenders away from the wingers, and then that opens up spaces for them. I don't know why we're so fixated on this. I know tippy tap is a bit of a harsh word and maybe discrediting us a little bit, but I feel it's a little bit too tippy tappy at times. And we're trying to always score the perfect goal. Just have a go now and again, because you'll never know about that lucky deflection, or even it will come off one of their defenders and it just falls into the right path of one of our oncoming players. And the other thing I think we're guilty of a lot of, James, I don't know if you've noticed it, I feel that we don't have enough runners. So when we are going down the wing, sometimes I feel that they're isolated and there's no one backing them up and there's no one running into the box. We have to have those runners into the box. Now, I wonder if Mourinho will be a target man, and I wonder if things will change with him.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I mean, sometimes I've been critical of when, a Martinelli or even a Trossard or Jesus was so guilty of it, where when they got it wide, it's just like, oh, I'm going to take on 6 men. And it's like, you can't. No, nobody could. But at the same point, I'm like, well, hang on a sec. If there's no one in the box, what else am I going to do? Because I'm not going to shoot from here because it's just near on impossible. Like, I've got to be some kind of marksman if I can score from the corner flag. And if you could do that, then I don't think,
Unless you're Ethan.
Yes, exactly. I just look at it and think, well, yeah, you've got no choice but to try and run through 6 men there, haven't you? Because there's nobody else. There's no one helping, like you said. But back onto obviously the first half and the game. Leicester had the chances. Obviously, Ndidi, who Neil, he seems like a guy that's been around forever. And I looked him up because I thought he's had a really good game against Arsenal here, not just first half, even second half as well. And he was 29. I couldn't believe it. I thought he was like 40 because he just seems to have been at Leicester and in the Premier League forever. And they were like, no, he's only like 28, 29. I was like, oh, bloody hell. But yeah, he obviously had a strike that was saved by Raya in the first half. And then he had a header that he put over. And like you said, Arsenal-wise, Trossard had one from Odegaard, like looping a ball over, and that's what he keeps doing as well. He keeps doing this like lofted, looped ball, Odegaard, and it never works. I don't know why. I mean, we've spoken about him striking the ball a couple of seasons ago, and the amount of goal. I think he got 15, wasn't it, as well in one season and everything. And it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, why can you not go back to this? Because we know he's got it in him. I mean, you're a snooker man. He's got that kind of soft, precision-based like shot on him, but he just doesn't use it anymore, and it baffles the life out of me because like I've said before, and we've all said it time and time again. If he wants to be, he can be the best player in the league, but it just seems that he doesn't know that he can do. It's like Space Jam, where they take all the powers away from the players and everything. That just seems like to be what he's doing at the moment. But obviously, moving from that first half, and Sterling as well, just like I said, he was like he was born offside, and then he just couldn't run in a straight line. And I'm being cautious with what I say because obviously the last podcast we did, we talked about how people were tearing into black players and whatever, and I don't want it to seem that I'm doing that. But at the same point, as much as I feel sorry for him, and I really do, because clearly what he thinks in his head he can do, his body just doesn't match, or his confidence and everything is so in the ground. But for me, at this point in time, when you're up against it and you're fighting for 2 major honours, which we are still, I know a lot of people might think that's stupid coming out of my mouth, but we are. And when you're like that and your back is against the wall, you either stand up or be counted, or you sink. And then if you sink the rest with you. And I look at him and I'm like, you can't be trusted. Unless you miraculously turn around, which I do not see happening. I'm like, you're going to bring the other people down, because for the first half and then the parts of the second before he got subbed, Neil, he was Leicester's best defender, because every attack that we made, he killed it. Whenever it went through to him, he killed it. And I mean, obviously catching up like you did and seeing it for yourself, and you mentioned it beforehand about how you feel it's a waste of a loan. Where do you go with Sterling from now? Do you think he definitely is probably a bench option now, or do you think he's still going to get more starts? Because I do look at it and I think Arteta has got that Arsene Wenger his greatest strength and his greatest weakness is his loyalty.
Yeah, but
And
that's the
I
bit.
think he's going to back him too much.
But that's the bit that always confuses me about Arteta, and I find it really kind of he's very up and down with that, because with some players, absolutely right, the loyalty's there, and he won't let go. I think he had a little bit of that with my your favourite and my favourite player, Nketiah, because he did like him. We know he liked him. I mean, I think he's a really nice guy. Actually, he was probably very well liked in the squad and within the club. And to be fair to him, he never complained. So look, I'm not going to sit there. He's gone now, and that's that. But I think there's sometimes where he's doesn't trust players enough. You and Jack have talked about this till the cows come home anyway, where there's certain players where you feel like he hasn't trusted and he doesn't give them the time of day. And then you've got the others where you think you shouldn't be giving him the time of day, but you still stick with him. For me, after seeing that substitution with Marino, I can't see any option but him being on the bench at the moment, because Trossard on the left, Marino in the middle as a false nine, and then you've got my man on the right. And it's got, I think that's our only option. We haven't got any other options. What other options are there? Unless we do play Calafiori up front, which I actually don't mind that, because I think he'd revel in it. I actually think he would revel in it, because he's that kind of
He gave
crazy player.
Tierney it at the end, didn't he? He brought Tierney
Yeah,
to do it towards the end
yeah,
of the game.
he did. He did. I mean, to
Yeah.
be honest, the thing is, what about Rico? What I like, he's not afraid to give players some of it as well. I mean, yeah, he might be a very very lovely, beautifully constructed man, but he's not afraid to get in players' faces, and he'll really give it some. So, I think I don't have a problem with him like shooting down the middle and messing up the opposition's minds a little bit. I really don't. But yeah, for me, it's got to be a bench option for Sterling, and I just there's no other. What else can you see, James? I can't see any other option.
Yeah, I know. It's tough because, again, like I said, I don't know if it's in his head he thinks he can do it and his body can't, or there is a part of me, and I know people will go, "Oh yeah, but every manager's arrogant, James." I do believe Arteta has this bit in him that, I'm the one that can bring them back. Like he has with Havertz. I've made him this goal scoring centre for. I can make Sterling the Sterling that I had at Man City. And I'm like, you might be able to, but then they've also got to be receptive to it. Like, you can try all you want yourself, but it's if the person is going to be receptive, and it just isn't happening. I mean, all the reports you see are about how in training, and especially with our young, like a Nanwary, like a Skelly, and some of these other youngsters they're all like in awe of being around Raheem Sterling. I'm like, well, yeah, because they grew up with Raheem Sterling being arguably one of the best players in this country. So that kind of experience and being around them for that is huge, because they probably all looked up to him. But at the same point, that isn't the guy you've got now. And we've always said about how you don't want to curtail certain players. And I'm like, but him being out there, I feel if Martinelli comes back, which is looking like that's coming back sharpish, he's definitely not getting in. He's definitely not. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, he goes even further down the pecking order, because you're not performing at the level where I can go, well, do you know what? I don't care that Martinelli's back, because Raheem Sterling's playing out of his. You've got to earn your place back. I think Martinelli walks into this team, and Martinelli, even this season, is nowhere near the level that we know that Martinelli can be. So yeah, it's a difficult one with Sterling. It really is. But the biggest, one of the biggest moments for me in this game, Thomas Partey in that second half gave the ball away, and it went to Ayew, who was sprinting, and he put the ball into Decordova-Reid for Leicester. But Miles Lewis-Skelly, Neil, game-changing moment, weren't it? Putting that block in and having that ball go off for the corner. And do you know what? I think if Arsenal went 1-0 down there, that's it. We would not have come back. So it's just superb reading and defensive work. I mean, we mentioned it about about Namweri as well. But is there anything that Miles Lewis-Skelly can't do? Because he's
No.
really he's really putting himself about. I mean, again, Neil, it's like we've gone back 3 years and we're talking about Smith Rowe and Saka saving a
That's what I
season,
said.
and
That's what I said,
how
didn't I?
this it's the same again, isn't it?
It's the
It's the
same over
kids.
again. It's the kids. Unbelievable. Let's hope that this time something more comes of it, and we actually then get the players around them that enhance them rather than them being the sole providers, because I think that's what it's come down to. If you think about it, I would say, although Mourinho scored the brace, I would actually have given the award of man of the match to Ethan, because I thought he was our best player. And when you look at the defence, yeah, all right, we got the Gabriels and the Sleeps at the spell. Skelly, I don't know what to say, man. I mean, what a block, and he wasn't even in balance. He was falling the other way almost, but he still had the mindset. I've got to get a touch on this somehow. But it's his awareness that touch moved the ball away from the attacker beautifully. Just it was so perfect. I don't think you could do it by just walking it. Slow motion. It was that perfect. It was just beautifully done. And for me, what that says to me about this player is the utter confidence and maturity levels are beyond James. They really are. Him and Ethan. I don't know what they are fed. I don't know what's in their food, because I've not seen two more mature. I thought that of Saka. I think these are another level. I actually do. And I'm going to go and say now that I think Ethan, if he carries on at this rate, he's going to be a much better player than Saka is, and that is saying something.
Yeah,
I think. I think he's Messi anyway. So
yeah,
you can't get a bit more
yeah.
of a bigger accolade.
You think he's on the same level as who arguably? Well, I mean, generation. You saw your Maradonas and your everyone else. For me, Messi's of my lot. I would say Messi's the best, and you're putting him right next to quote unquote the best of all time, and I don't think you can get better than that. I mean, I will shout it out for myself. 95 was obviously the first game that I went to, and I will say Cesc Fabregas, as much as I hate saying that name, at 17 years old, running a midfield in the Premier League and the Champions League. You remember that game where with Juventus and Patrick Vieira come back, and the first 4 minutes Vieira went bang, he went through him. I knew it. I said to my dad, I went, Vieira's going to go whack into him just to be like, have some of that, you flash so and so, But then for the rest of that game, he was unbelievable. I don't like giving Cesc Fabregas praise, but I have to here. He was unbelievable. And do you know what? I reckon that's the best I've seen a kid to run a midfield in the Premier League at that time and the Champions League at 17 years of age. I will edge him just above Nwaneri at the moment, just. But yeah, I think Nwaneri for me, and I saw Ashley Cole as well, but I think he looks more comfortable than Cole when he first come in. And also, as I loved Wilshere, but I think he looks better than Wilshere as well. Sorry, I've got to say it as I see it.
And weren't you telling me that his younger brother's even better than him? Apparently,
supposedly yes. From what I've been told from a very good source that was at the training. Obviously, they got invited to training with the under 15s and what have you, or under 16s, whatever it is. And he said, yeah, watching them all in the flesh, he said all the coaches were like, his brother's better than him. And he said, actually, watching him live, he was like, yeah, his brother's even. He said his brother's just as scarily good.
Goodness.
And then again, another person I work with, they obviously have another kid that's in the academy. Like his close friend has got his son in the academy, and he come on as a sub last week for the youth team and did brilliantly. And he started tonight. And I think they kept a clean sheet and he played the whole game. And they've said in defence, he was superb. So I'm like, that's something to talk about on Monday because he's going to be glowing about that again, that his mate's boy, because he's obviously grown up with him and then his kids know his kids and everything. So it's a big, really, really special. I mean, we mentioned it, Neil. We mentioned it earlier this week in the WhatsApps and everything, and about credit to Per Mertesacker and what they're doing there at that academy. I know that they're not getting the best loans for them. I know in January a lot of them should have been sent on loan, but they're obviously still in that youth cup. Got Man United. Obviously, Chido's probably going to play against us. Who cares? But yeah, I mean, if they get titles under their belts at that level and then bring it into the first, because this is the thing. I remember when Arteta brought Nwaneri on against Brentford, and you had Jason Cundy and Danny Murphy. Oh, that's just for his ego. That's that's for him to have I played the youngest ever player. And I'm like, no, he wasn't under contract, and we wanted him to sign, so he wanted to see the pathway, and we could see the talent to go. There is the pathway. I mean, there's a great video of Granit Xhaka where he coaches the kids, and the two kids that are in the video that Granit Xhaka is really, really focusing on are Lewis Skelly and Nwaneri. So it's so weird to see like 3 or 4 years ago, and the way he's going, like, "Whoa, yeah, great pass, you did." Like, and as much as people don't like Granit Xhaka, I'm telling you now, I'd have loved to have kept him for another year. I'd still love to have Granit Xhaka now in this team.
I agree with that, 100%.
Yeah,
that might have been the difference as well last season or the season before. When did he go? He's been before. Yeah, could have been the difference.
And Mike's in the chat there.
Yeah,
or secure them long term so that we actually make money. None of these freebies or going for silly. Like let's make some money on them. But obviously, back on the kids again. Nwaneri's second chance, Neil. This one that would have put us ahead after everything that happened. It's a well-worked counter. The long ball from Odegaard into Moreno, who obviously come on, and like you said, he's a focal point. So he heads it down, gives it to Declan Rice. Rice, like you said, driving with the ball. Get people moving back because there's someone running. They're getting afraid that someone's coming at them in the centre. Not out wide, like I'm going to run through you. With or without the ball. Luckily he had the ball, but he's like, I'm running through you. So get out the way. Either get out the way or you're going to foul me and I'm going to win a free kick. And he plays it into Nwaneri, who then makes a run. And I'm thinking, what's he going to do? Which, again, when have you seen a 17-year-old and you're thinking, what's he going to do? Because he's going to do something productive. And he hits it with his weaker foot this time, Neil. His right foot, not his left, his right foot. And it hits the post and the crossbar because the keeper luckily got a glove to it. But I mean, if this goes in, it's probably our goal one of the goals of the season, isn't it? Because the whole move and then the execution was nearly flawless. Like every single thing. It's a typical Arsenal goal. It's a move from the back to the front
and fast.
But then just executed. I mean, I haven't seen someone hit that ball with a weaker foot probably since Podolski from range.
Yes,
with
great
Venom.
shout. Great shout. Yes, that's a great shout. Oh, I miss Podolski.
He's another one. He's another one left in bad circumstances. Probably didn't want to go and what have you. But yeah, he still loves this club.
He still loves this club. So does Szczesny, doesn't he? Both of them.
Exactly.
Do. Yeah. I think you've just said it, James. I can't add anything else to this kid because if he can if he can if he can do that with his weaker foot, I mean that still had some power in it, right? I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's just unfortunate that on 2 occasions he's hit the woodwork because I think you're right. The Skelly interception was so important. If that had gone in, I think we wouldn't have been able to recover. So he deserves a hell of a lot for the result, a hell of a lot. Marino obviously gets the goals and where he's just a complete menace and hit the woodwork twice. But Skelly has got to take a lot of credit. But, I mean, then the attacker's still got to do his stuff. And my God, does Ethan Nwaneri do his stuff. You think, you see, this. I think I might have mentioned this on your last book. Was it the one before? I can't remember. Where I said, I used to love Pepe. You know I love Pepe. And I thought
he was one of my favourite players.
Yeah, and I thought this guy, and he was used to pivot to his left because he was his stronger foot. And if he had got that right, I think he could have been quite a lethal player for us up front. But he just took that one man too many and always got caught out, and it became too predictable. But with Nwaneri, I think even if he could probably take another 3 men on and still get a shot on, he's that good. And I haven't got a problem with him either taking the shot on his right or his left, because I would always curse Pepe. Don't go to your left. You're not going to be able to get anywhere. He's going to go, oh, there you go. Same old again. Anywhere, yeah, do it. Beat another one because he'll beat them. But I'm not saying anymore. I'm done with talking about him because I've got nothing to say. It's just all good.
Oh, I'm sorry because I've got to talk about the first goal. So you've got to talk about him again because he's pivotal. He's pivotal to it, Neil. He's pivotal to it. I mean, brilliant from. I know I said about first half they were, some of them weren't at the level. Obviously Rice I said was, but yeah, Declan Rice winning it high, goes to Timber. Now Timber can whip the cross in. Timber can go, I'm going to throw the cross in. But he's brilliant here because he waits and he goes, Dud, you know what? Ethan's there. I'll ping it to Ethan. And then I know you said I can't anymore, but I'm going to have to press you now. The cross, Neil.
It's
the
just
cross.
pinpoint.
And do you know what?
Yeah.
For a centre midfielder that's arguably fans are like, I'm not sure about this bloke. We're all, is he just more than all right? Because we've all said he's neat, Moreno. He's neat, but he doesn't like. What more have you got? Because being neat ain't enough at the moment. We could all have a player that's neat. I want to know what else you can give me. It's a tremendous forwards goal. I looked at it and thought, in the last couple of weeks, Kai Havertz had them sort of balls played in, and he's headed them into row Z. So this guy, I thought it was a brilliant header, Neil, as well. I really did.
Well, if we start with the cross, he did something. He did a similar cross in the first half, but it didn't quite. I don't know if it was Trossard that messed it up or couldn't quite get a good contact on it. But he did exactly the same kind of cross in the first half. Same, but on the other side. But this time, luckily, Marina was there. And yeah, let's mention that because you know what I found stunning about him. Firstly, that he's not played in that position since he was 8, and he only did it once in his life. But how easy he made it look. That's the thing. He made it look so goddamn easy. All right, okay. The cross has a lot to do with it, because it's pinpoint. And that's down to Nweri. But he still had to, as you said, because Kai Havertz has missed those. But he was Kai Havertz in disguise, but with Kai Havertz on steroids. And he just, bang. And it made it look easy. And you know what? This is the one time where, I think again, I don't know if it was your pod or Michael's, where I've questioned Arteta's substitutions on both ways, in both the bad and the good, where he's made some great ones and he's made some. This one was a good one. This one was a good one, and what a bit of a masterstroke. You know what? Let's stick him up front. Let's see what happens. What a goal, and that's it. And I think the game was won by then anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Leicester. Okay, now after this game have conceded more goals than Southampton, so they're arguably the worst defence in the league. But they were really digging in deep there and making it difficult. And do you know what? I was going to myself, for God's sake, this poor lad who is who is a recognised centre forward isn't coming on, and we're chucking Moreno up front. I was like, this better pay off, because if not, you're going to look an absolute numpty, and they will tear you apart. Even though it was Keown, I was like, the others on this channel are going to tear you apart if he comes on and has a stinker. And he was brilliant. Yeah, I know that it's only Leicester and what have you, but I was really, really impressed. And going into this second goal, Neil, again, what a move. And you mentioned him earlier. Obviously, Calafiori come on for Lewis Skelly after that clearance and everything. Calafiori, he's driving, like I said about Declan Rice, causing a panic. And Mike mentioned it on his podcast. I know he's in the chat, so I'll shout him out again because he's spot on. Trossard initially is offside. So he's waiting and like, get back on so I can give you. And the weight of pass from him, superb. And then Trossard, the last few weeks has definitely improved. 100% improved from what he has been. Maybe that's because he knows he's important now and he's actually playing. So he's not as, miserable and mopey as he was when he wasn't playing. But the Trossard, the ball in to Moreno. And another thing, this is what I want to say in that, like you said, he hasn't played there since he's 8. Well, he's definitely got striker's instinct, Neil, because I've played as a forward and I weren't a good player. I was a bit like how Moreno probably was. I was 6'2" when I was 9. So they were like, get up front. They're like, you can't run. You're just massive. We'll ping it long. Can you hold it up and give it to people who can do something? I'm like, yeah, just about. I can do that. But me and other people that aren't, you'd run to the center of the box again, like your header. But Moreno stays wide. This is so clever. He stays wide, and then the finish is brilliant. And I'm like, did we go to? I put it on Twitter. I went, did we go to Dubai and sign Raul? Because there's these 2 goals are bagsman goals. This isn't a midfielder playing. He's taken them like competent class centre forwards would take him.
I can't. I want him to. I want to see him start in that position tomorrow, and I want to see what he can do. because I don't want it to be a one-off. I really want him to excel in this, because we need a player like him. There's no two ways about it. We don't have anyone up front. Sterling isn't working. Sterling, as you said, I think if Martinelli comes back, even though Martinelli has been probably a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 at most, if you're pushing it, he still walks into that team. That just goes to show how poor Sterling has been. So Marino's got to own that position now, and I hope that doesn't put excess pressure on him. But I liked him in his interview, James, that he basically said, "Look, I'll play in goal if the manager wants me to. I don't care. I'll just play anywhere because I just want to help the team." I love that. I really liked his interview. I love the way he spoke. Very humble, very to the point. I will do whatever it takes. If you want me to play left back, right back, middle, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll do it. So I think by having that mindset, maybe he's not going to put that extra pressure on himself. But because at the end of the day, if you are playing in that position, you are the man that everyone's looking at, James. Doesn't matter how good your defenders are. Doesn't matter how good your midfield is. You're the person everyone is looking at because you're expected to be delivering and putting the ball in the net. So if it doesn't put pressure on himself and he doesn't let others put pressure on him, I think he's going to be all right, I think we could have, by fluke, I think someone said on Match of the Day, by fluke have found our answer for the rest of the season.
Well, I look at it, Neil, and I think to myself, obviously, there is the beauty of having the kid come in that is an absolute recognised striker and him tucking and scoring goals to help. But at the same point, I'm like, this team now for nearly, a season and a bit have had a 6'4" person that we've just hit, and it's not, this Tony Pulis, Jose, Sean Dyche thing that everyone keeps saying. We're not just long ball, but it's been like we've mentioned, there's been a focal point there. And to try and depart from that and go with Trossard, who is more of he's not an out and out link man because he hasn't got the height. He can't, and unlike Kai Havertz as well, he's not doing 12 to 13 kilometers a game. And I know that Moreno probably can't, but David Raya likes to ping a ball long. Havertz can either take it down, then spread it wide, or play it backwards and then move around. And I think we need to have a focal point player. And I mean, I did the line, I did the graphic, and I'll put it up quickly, but we've pretty much answered it already. And this is the lineup that it's exactly what we did towards the end of that game. Obviously, Lewis Skelly stays, but yeah, I think you need that focal point player. And for me, Moreno, 6'2", 6'3", whatever he is, you got to go with it. You got to go with it. Is it perfect? No, but he scored 2 perfect goals. He was beaming. The fans are singing that chant for him. I'm sat there thinking, holding out for Moreno till the end of the night as well. Start singing that. Yeah, you like that one. And yeah, I'm like, you've got to go for it, haven't you? It's unfortunately we are in shit creek, but he might be the paddle, Neil. He might be the paddle. We might actually have a paddle. Do you know what I mean? If you want to join it, I mean,
I love it.
Rich has joined in. Hello, Rich. Nice to see
hello,
you.
Rich.
He's put Moreno might do a job in the odd game, but you don't win a Champions League, leagues or Champions League with him as your centre forward, or Havertz for that matter. 100% agree. 100% agree. Both of them were, Havertz on his own wasn't enough. We saw that.
Yeah.
We saw that.
Yeah.
So
100%.
yeah, but right now,
well, we got the choice, have we?
Yeah. I mean, we've gone from thinking, cool, we've got some depth, to we're the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan, aren't we? Where we're in the boat, everyone just bodies are all falling around. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what? You have to look. Let's give us a little bit of positivity here. Considering what we've been through injury-wise, nothing else. I know everyone's got their reasons and criticisms and what have you, and theories on what's been going on this season. But given just again what I said earlier in the pod, given the injuries, the fact that we are, what is it? If we win our game, how many points behind Liverpool will we be? Five, which isn't, considering what we've been through.
And they've got Man City, Newcastle next. I know. Focus on yourselves. Don't.
No. I know, but look. Considering we potentially, hopefully, if we get the points against West Ham 5 points behind them, and that's with level games now, thank goodness. And to be honest, we've had one of the best Champions Leagues runs that I can remember for a long time. To finish, we ended up just behind, was it Barcelona? Third. I think we were third.
Yeah.
It was third. So if you think about the quality of the teams that were there, all right, they might not be as good as they were, but if you think about just by names, the teams that were in that big, massive league in the Champions League, to finish third and play as well as we have in the sense of what we've had at our disposal, pending, with all the given injuries that we've suffered, to do that and also replicate that in the league as well, to be second and third in two major competitions. We're at February the 21st, is it today? I don't know, 20th, something like that. We're not doing bad. It could have all gone pear-shaped completely. We could have lost the whole lot by now. But we're still hanging in there. Now, if Marino can start bagging some goals, even if the games are not great, because look, let's be honest, the first half wasn't great, was it? It wasn't a great first half.
Neil, I was going mental, mate.
Right. Well, okay. Yeah. So we're not playing brilliantly. We're not like you said. It's not a perfect. The line. You put the lineup up and you said, look, this is the best we've got, and this is what we have to go with. But it's by far not perfect. Of course, it's not perfect. But if we can get these results and just hang in there, you never know. You just don't know anything. Football's a funny game. Richard, who's in the chat now, he knows. We've seen some crazy results in the past. That you just don't expect. Not just with Arsenal, with any team. Underdogs beating big teams in FA Cups and all sorts of things happening. You just never know what could happen. So you've got to hold on to that hope. And I think at the moment we by chance, literally by chance, have found some hope with Marino. If that hadn't happened, and if he came on and he didn't do anything, then you'd be thinking, oh my God. But now there's an option. I feel. So you never know. You never know.
Yeah, and especially tomorrow against West Ham, who they're probably going to have Mavropanos, our old boy there. They've got other big boys at the back. They've got Souček, who's a big boy, and everything. For me, I'm like Trossard. As much as he's improved and everything, I don't want him down the middle because they're just going to mark him out of the game. They're just going to bash him about. Like you said, Moreno, focal point. He can put himself about a bit as well, and just cause some just cause some hassle. I mean, that's one thing that we have said when he's played in the midfield. This way that he's arriving into the box crashing is the puristy term for it. But I'm like, just do that from the start because people are going, oh yeah, James, but he ain't going to run the channels. He's not going to stretch and everything. We've got players who can do that. We've got just literally, can you be there when we put that ball in? Yes. Done. Do you know what I mean? And like you said, you've got to ride with it until, hopefully Martinelli or whoever comes back, and that's what we've got to do. That's what we got to do.
It's only Martinelli, isn't it? Because Jesus is ruled out, Havertz is ruled out.
I mean Saka as well. But Rich again, Neil, I love you, man, but Moreno is just not the man. Let's remember Potter he does, with Ostersons and Brighton. Let's not underestimate him. I don't think anyone's underestimating West Ham at all.
No.
We know that they're going to, as much as they like to think there's a huge rivalry between the two clubs. I think that's more invented in West Ham's minds than, Arsenal fans' minds, and especially with this whole, we don't cheer Declan Rice because he left to go to a rival. I'm like, I don't think you've really been a rival of Arsenal.
No, it's all right.
Many a year, but okay, if that's what you want in your head, go for it. If that makes you happy, but for me, they're going to want to stop us winning the league and Liverpool win it. Of course they are.
Yeah,
because it's banter, it's laugh for them at the end of the day. So I'm not underestimating them. I think they're going to come and try and do a job and obviously stop us from winning the league or competing for the league per se. And I mean, just quickly back on the game, Neil.
Yeah.
Just to mention it, probably again, stupid question from me, but man of the match. I'll put the graphic up as I do, as always. Who's it going to be? Oh no! Shock horror! It's Ethan Nwaneri. 12 duels won in that game, 7 touches in the opposition box, which was the most of any of our player. Made 6 out of 7 take-ons. He had 4 shots. 4 times he won possession back in a high area. He made 3 tackles and he created 2 chances. Obviously, both of them hitting the bar and the post. And he got 1 assist. Do you agree that he's man of the match as well,
Nah,
Neil?
it's rubbish.
Or have you got
Rubbish
someone
stats.
else? Yeah.
That's
Who's man of
rubbish
the match
stats.
instead?
Well, what kind of rubbish stats is that? Useless player. Get him off. It's rubbish. All this stuff talk about the youth, rubbish. Hale End, nonsense, rubbish. No, but he's unbelievable. Of course, he's man of the match. I mean, we said it at the earlier on that yes, Skelly, massively important touch that probably saved us the game at that point. Marino with his brace, but I think Nwaneri's the man of the match overall because he was the only one really, I would say, in both halves that was offering something as well.
Yes.
The others weren't really doing it. Yeah, as you said, you had moments with Rice, had moments with Trossard, who I agree actually has become a lot. He's the Trossard that I remember now when we first signed him. He's not the Trossard that we've had this, I don't know, last few months, I'd say. I just think he's been throwing a bit of a strop, but I think Trossard is now back on his game as much as as well as he can be. But yeah, no, and Nwaneri for me, he's got to be starting every game now for me. He's got to. I don't care if he's 17, James. You start him every game. Well, he's doing it with Skelly, isn't he? Skelly's only 18, isn't he? He's only a year older.
Yep.
So what's the difference? A few months difference? Doesn't matter.
Needs must, and also when you're playing like that,
how
can you drop him?
Well, with Nwaneri, I don't think it's needs must. I think he's the best player he's got at the moment.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's not rocket science, is it? You play him.
There was a good period of that second half, Neil, where I was watching it, and it was just literally like, give him the ball because the rest of you are just doing my head in.
That's it.
I'm like, just give him the ball, and he was taking it and trying to. Do you know what I mean? He was just like, yeah, all right, I'll win this on my own then.
Wow, what a player!
Yeah.
I can't wait to keep seeing him. It's like sometimes you look forward to football games. At the moment, I'm looking forward to seeing him play.
Yeah, well, if you are going tomorrow, it's live and in colour, isn't he? He's live in the flesh. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah. Please.
Yeah, and I mean, we got Jamie in the chat as well now, and he's just put there only 2 points less in the league compared to last season. Results are the most important. Take shots, crosses, gamble. Same as people talking down the Champions League draw. Compete in every game and go for it. Yeah, spot on. And, obviously Champions League draw come out, Neil. Got PSV. A lot of people already have booked their tickets for Madrid for the plane. I'm not that confident. I wouldn't be going. I wouldn't be going anyway. I can't get tickets for home games, let alone tickets for away. Well, mate, if I could get tickets for away in the Bernabeu, do you think? Do you know what I mean? That actually, do you know what? I probably would have a chance of getting a ticket in the Bernabeu compared to at the Emirates. But do you know what I mean? For me, I look at it and I'm like, if you want to win anything, you got to play these big sides and beat them. And I'm not saying we're going to, but let's go. Like I'm the same as Jamie. Let's go.
If you want to be the best, you've got to beat the best. It doesn't matter whether it's first round or last round.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I mean, I know innately I am a miserable fucking bastard, but
I wasn't expecting that on the pod.
Someone on one of the comments, I went on Highbury Squad a few weeks ago
God.
after we won, and someone in the comments went, "Bloody hell, this guy would be miserable in heaven." And you know what? I laughed. He went, "This guy could be miserable in heaven," and I was like, "Yeah," because he was like, "We've still won, yet he's picking stuff out and everything." I was like, "I say it as I see it." But yeah, I am, inherently a miserable fucking person. So. But I'm trying to extrapolate the joy in here. And you know what? No matter how miserable I am, I don't know how you can be up. How can you be upset watching Nwaneri play? I know we've gone on about.
Oh gosh.
We should have just called this the Nwaneri Appreciation Society because
I think
it is.
I think so.
I think we're leveling Dyson for the amount of suction that we're giving something at the moment. I mean, it's unbelievable what we're doing to Nwaneri tonight. But there we go. But Rich here put, should we have tried to get Evan Ferguson on loan? We couldn't. Because we got Neto and Sterling, but
of course,
I would have, if possible, I would have done it, Rich. I'd have 100% done it. I still am one of the few people that think Ferguson's got it in him. I know he's been injured and out of such and what have you at Brighton, but yeah, I still think there's a player in there. So I would have 100% done it if possible. Jamie again, only thing West Ham are rivals for us is in hating Spurs. 100% agree. And if only Mikel had faith in him when Odegaard was injured. Very true. He should have. We mentioned that at the time. We did say Nwaneri should have played those games against. It was Leicester and Southampton, weren't it? Those were the two games that he should have played in.
Well, I said he should have played from the start for the season.
Yes. Yeah. Well, like we said at the start of the show, you went captain, goal kicks, penalties, corners. Yeah. And then Mike here, football is funny. We got to the Champions League
Yes, we
final in
did.
2006. Yeah, we talked on the phone about that earlier, didn't we?
We did. We didn't
Yeah.
concede
No one
either.
gave us
We
a
didn't
chance.
concede till the final. That's the first time ever.
No, no,
Wow.
no. I mean, that Villarreal game was tense. I mean, that Lehmann penalty save. Yeah, I remember screaming the house down.
Yeah.
And but I remember the goal by Sol Campbell in the final, thinking I remember hugging my dad, thinking we're gonna do it, Dad. We're gonna do it.
I was like this the whole game after he scored. I could still, because I thought, are we going to do this? Are we going to do? And then we just.
And then Henri missing that chance.
Oh,
I think it went to 2-0.
All the people to do that.
Yeah, I know.
Oh gosh.
But we might have our time in the sun again. Who knows?
Rich, it's happening. We're doing the double, mate. Are you listening, Rich?
Yeah, but Moreno's going to score in the final. Yeah.
Can you imagine? Wow.
He'd love it.
Who would we get? No, it's too far to map that out.
I've got it here.
Go on, man.
So on the other side, you've got Benfica, Barcelona,
right?
Dortmund, Lille, Bayern Munich, Bayern Leverkusen, Feyenoord, or Inter Milan. I will take revenge against Barcelona
100%.
in the final for me, or I would love to get Bayern Munich and then rob Harry Kane of winning the Champions League.
Yes, I like it. I love that. Long.
But I would not like to play Inter Milan again, because I've backed them from the start to win it.
You did. Yeah.
I know I should back Arsenal as an Arsenal fan, but I did think Inter Milan a bit scary. And Rich here, forwards win you games, defenders don't. We had Henri, Bergkamp, Freddie, and Pires in 2006. Spot on. Yeah, he's not wrong. But got to look at it at what we've got now, Rich, and sadly, like I said, I'm backing it regardless. I've got no choice. What
are you predicting tomorrow, James?
Yes, I was just about to ask you, but yeah, you go for it. We change it up. We'll vary the format. I'm going to go for Arsenal 2, West Ham 1. I think it's going to be narrow, but we're still going to do it. And I'm backing the man. I reckon Moreno's going to score again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say 3-1. So
nice. Who's scoring? Probably silly question.
Ethan will go a little bit closer than the woodwork this time. He's going to score. 100% Ethan's going to score. I'd say Ethan. And I'd like to see Moreno score, just to prove to everyone that it wasn't a one-off. Yeah. So for both of them, really, hopefully.
Oh, and Michael's come back and said true, but they didn't win us that final, unfortunately, did they, Rich? Subbing Pires in his last ever game. I couldn't believe when he took Pires off. I couldn't believe it, but there we go.
It's heartbreaking.
And Rich has gone 1-0 tomorrow. Ethan to assist Sterling. I'd love to see it.
Rich, are you all right?
I'd love to see it, Rich. I'd love to see it.
So Rich is going for a Sterling start? Is that right? Am I thinking right there? Are you going for a Sterling start, Rich?
Yeah, we'll wait for him to respond.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I like his positivity.
You're not on the show, but you're in the show, Rich. So
yeah.
Is Sterling going to start tomorrow, Rich?
Wow.
I feel like one of these reporters now.
Would you be surprised if that happens, James?
What, that Sterling starts? No, because I can see Arteta thinking, like I said earlier, in that Moreno
the trust thing, and
he can't run the channels and do.
Okay,
yeah. I mean,
but Sterling can't.
Yeah, but in his head, he still thinks he's got Raheem Sterling from Man City in 2019, and everything. And I'm like, yeah, but you also had De Bruyne, David Silva, you had all these players that were feeding him. I'm like,
true.
And Rich has come back down.
Sterling off the bench tapping, obviously. Okay, well, I'll take it.
Yeah,
if that wins us the game,
I would be nervy as anything if it was 0-0 and then Sterling come on and won. I think I'd rip the padding on my chair if it was 0-0. We watched the game against Leicester in the front room as one of our friends come round and was just like, he watches football as well, and was like, oh, instead of you staying in your own room, I stay out of the way. I let my brother have peace. I watch the football on my own and get angry on my own or cheer on my own, whatever I want to do. But he was like, no, go on, you can watch it in here. And they were just all like, God, I hate watching football with you. And I'm like, I said, I get stressed, boys. I went, I have nothing else. This is all I have. You know what I mean?
I've got to be with you one day where you're watching football like that. I just want to see your reaction.
Oh, don't. When he run the ball out for a throw-in, yeah, the controller nearly went through the TV, I think.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I've experienced Lee. You know Lee. He's just incredible at the match.
Oh, he's hilarious.
The way he was throwing me about, I just said, I've got a bad back, don't you, Lee? It doesn't matter. He was just his emotions. I could not help, but I was more interested in watching him than the game because it was hilarious. He had me transfixed.
He's funny without football even being on. So I can't imagine what he's like. Yeah.
Oh, mate. Yeah, I think you got to experience that one day. But I'd like to do the same with you. Now what you've just said, I'd like to see how you're.
Yeah. Well, I won't throw you around, but
no, please don't do that. Please.
No. I mean, Jamie in the chat, he watched the Crystal Palace game with me, and that was an experience. Yeah, that was. I mean, that was fun. That was fun.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we had two people having a fight behind us about Kivior, literally nose to nose, like shoving and everything.
Oh, yeah. Jesus!
Yeah. Oh, because obviously he messed up, didn't he, for that Mateta goal?
That's right.
Oh God! Yeah, these two guys. I'm going to Jamie. I'm turning around, going, they're having a fight. Look.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No, that's not good.
Yeah, and I'm
but
like,
we
really fighting each other during the Carabao. I'm like, of all competitions, when it's like families are coming with their kids and everything.
Gosh,
I'm like, we're getting this wound up about the Carabao. I'm like, bloody hell.
I probably mentioned this to all of you. Michael's on the chat and Rich as well. Jamie, we've got to get together for a game, even if it's watching it in a pub. We've just something all of us have not done as a collective. We've just got to do that. It'd be so nice just to see everyone face to face and just watch a game together.
And the thing is, the pubs near Arsenal, I'm not banned from all of them, like where I live. So
God's sake,
I could go to the ones here.
Sake.
So, yeah, I'm not barred, so this is good.
What are you like?
Mate, I had a habit of weeing up speakers as a young man, so I'm afraid. I used to get too drunk and was like, can't make it up them stairs. And then I would ask my friends to stand around.
Are you actually kidding me?
Oh no, I'm being 100% serious. But them, the bastards, used to just disperse and go, "This bloke's weeing, and then that's it. Game over for me. I finished. Yeah. I couldn't walk up the. This is what I never used to understand, especially in like Weatherspoons. Is I know we're getting completely off topic now. It's gone completely off football, but this is my show. This is what happens. We had one about how we should throw plastic away in volcanoes as a form of recycling. Instead of, we just thought throw it in a volcano. It'd be better for the environment.
While the volcano's erupting. So you're in a helicopter above, yeah?
Yeah.
But then,
if I had my choice, Neil, I'd be an Airwolf with the theme playing. That's what I would have done. But, that's how my brain works. But, yeah.
You're too young to remember Airwolf.
Oh, what a show, mate. What a show. I used to have Bravo, Neil, on the telly. It was all those programmes.
Yeah.
Used to be in a block. I'd watch Joe 90. Hercules,
I didn't know you Joe Lance.
Airwolf.
Wow.
Yeah, we'd be in a block. You'd watch all of them.
Oh, mate, we got to have another conversation. Yeah. All right, cool.
But yeah, I never understood how Weatherspoons would have all this massive space, yet you'd have to walk up to the bloody
Mount Everest
staircase of Lord of the Rings where the big eye is to go have a slash. It used to do my head in. Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, bloody hell, I'm getting a Duke of Edinburgh expedition badge for having a wee. I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous. I had a friend of mine. I had a friend of mine, lovely guy. He had cerebral palsy, and I used to say to him, "Just give me your disabled key," because I'm like, I'm fucking going up there.
Like, I know what you mean.
He's like, you can't keep taking my key. You can't. I'm like, just give me the key. I'm like,
back in the day when I was a pub addict, I remember those pubs and those walks. I used to think, I'm just going to hold it.
It never made sense. I'm like, you've got all this space, yet you were, put the toilet in Mordor. Go on, all the way up there. I'm like,
and you're literally walking through orcs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's Spoons. You know what it was like.
Oh god, yeah. It's still like that now.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
they're orcs. Yeah. They actually are orcs. So.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, I was bad enough when I worked in the 24-hour garage, and the people used to bang on the glass at like 6 a.m.
God.
Like, whiskey. I'm like, all right, mate, calm it down.
Jesus, James.
Yeah, I'm not opening the door. You'll get.
When's your book coming out?
Oh, I'm not clever enough to write a book, mate. Never clever enough to write a book.
Of course you can. You can do anything you want.
I think only you would want to read it.
But surprise yourself.
Hey, my brother's here as well.
Hey,
good to see you, mate. Good to see you.
Go.
And then Thunder in Paradise. Exactly. Well, Neil, is there anything else football-wise? Because we've gone into a bit of we've got into Weatherspoons.
One of you lads going to do a podcast. I think I've been talking to Michael about it. So we can talk about some really good TV shows that we all love. We should do it. We should do a different move away from football and do something like that. Because I think we'd all enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%.
We consider it. I think you've got the tools. Michael's got the tools. It's just the time, isn't it? But I think we'd really enjoy it. We've got to do that. But anyway.
Yeah, well, it might be something that we'll do when the season's finito.
Yeah.
I'll throw it out there. We'll try and do some kind of, I don't know, what's it the kids call it now, pop culture or whatever it is type.
Is it pop culture? Oh, yeah, of course.
Whatever, we'll get into that sort of thing. But yes.
No, football-wise, I just hope we turn up and can get the win. That's it. I don't care how we win. Just get the 3 points.
Exactly. And Neil, if people want to find you, obviously not at the game, leave him alone, let him watch the match. But if people want to find out, want to listen to you more, want to read your tweets, because you're good in written form as well as speaking form.
I don't know about that, but no, but you're, as I always say, like yourself, like Michael, Jack's pod, Richard, who's on the chat, people like that. I'm always honoured to be their guests on their shows, so that's where you can find me.
Yeah, and thank you very much, everybody. And I'll tell you what, buzzing, big lot of chatter for a Friday evening. I know there was a game on. I don't know if it was because Brentford were absolutely dominating Leicester that people were like, I'm not watching that anymore. But yeah, thanks for joining in, everybody. Take care. Enjoy the game tomorrow. And we will be back next week to do West Ham. I don't know.
Come on.
I might have to put the bat signal up and have you again, Neil. We'll see what happens. But I won't make you walk up the staircase of Weatherspoons to come on. You can just have a nice little easy trek. But yes. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
All. Cheers.
And muchas gracias.